It's Carlos Hyde going up against Todd Gurley.
The frozen tundra is going to be in full effect here today as we send you up to a snowy Wisconsin. On the call, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Larry, there's just something that feels right about a snowy day for football in Wisconsin, and that's what we have here on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Today, we've got a good NFC matchup on tap between the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. On first down, Rodgers. And incomplete to open things up. Stephon Diggs, his intended receiver. And it's second down. And a lot of the weight of this offense falls on the shoulders of the running back.
That's because the offense knows if they give him any openings, any opportunities, he can turn it into a big play at any time.
So they're still at the original line of scrimmage here. Second down and 10. A first carry now. This is Lacy. Give him 4 on the ground there. They're now left with 3rd and 6. And let's get a look at the Green Bay defense.
Julius Peppers, some would call him the grand old man. He'd hate that. He just want to be a seasoned veteran who continues to make plays at a Pro Bowl level.
This defense looking for an early stop. This is 3rd down and 6. They'll need to get the play off quickly. On 3rd down, here's Lacy. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. And how about this one now? In their own territory, a gutsy call. They're going to go for this on 4th and a yard. Here we go on 4th down with Rodgers. The open man is Smith. Give him 3 on the play, and on 4th down, they're able to convert and move the sticks. I don't know if I agree with that. I guess they don't care if I agree with that. But, boy, you have to be surprised by that, right?
I definitely was surprised that they decided to go for it in this situation. But they must have either felt like they either had a great play call on or they're trying to show extreme confidence.
26.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. And he'll lay out and pull it in. What a diving catch there. Give him 16 on the pickup, and it'll give the Vikings a 1st down.
Every coach we ever talk to says to his team before the game, quick start, guys. Let's get out of the gate fast. How about that? They took his lesson to heart, didn't they?
They did exactly that. A nice diving catch here on the game's opening drive. 1st down and 10 now for the offensive group. Rodgers now on 1st down. Throw complete right side to Cooks. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. Give him 8 on the play, and it'll make it a 2nd down.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did. Well, he did almost everything right. Excellent coverage, breaks on the football, just unable to haul it in and take it the other way. So he dropped an interception. The key for him now, don't dwell on it. Just move on to the next play.
And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. In motion, the tight end Barnage. They'll try and run for it. Here's Lacy. And he's able to pick up the 1st down here before he goes down at the 26. You think back at Alabama, he was there, Ingram was there, Richardson all at the same time. Boy, they produced some backs, haven't they?
They do. They are run heavy, and backs are attracted to that. They know they're going to carry the football often, and they'll get plenty of help from those big people up front.
They stay on the ground on first down with Lacey. Down to the 25. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held them to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
Now this will be the 9th play on this drive. On 2nd down, here's Rodgers. Looking for Barnage, and it's intercepted. Picked off, dashing through the snow. The 30, 10, 5, and into the end zone. It's a pick 6 and a Packer touchdown. And the defense could not have written a much better script than that first drive, pick 6.
The offense never got a chance to really get oiled up there, did they? But the defense, they certainly got in gear. What a big-time play and a great way for them to start.
And now the offense, they've got to turn things around and figure this out because your backs are on the ground real quickly.
Yeah, usually when you're starting the game getting the ball, 0-0 is the only score you're worried about. Now the second time you get it, you're already down a touchdown.
This will be fielded at the 8. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. And out now come the Vikings. And last time, decent field position through the pick 6. Obviously costly.
But they can't afford to just bunker in now. All right, good field position means go ahead and attack on offense. Try and press the advantage a little bit. They just have to be better with the football on this possession.
So that didn't bother you too much last time?
No, because it's exactly what you're supposed to do. You can't have good field position, not try to take advantage of it. Sometimes the defense makes a good play, too.
In motion, the tight end Barnage. They go play action here on first down. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away. But the bottom line is that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
They come out here in the eye. On second down, Lacey. And he's brought down. Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs.
What often gets lost with Eddie Lacy when he's playing at his ideal weight is his agility and his quickness. But in this case, he's putting that together with his power. And with these early runs, if you're on the defense side of the ball, you've got to stop that now or you're in for a long, long game.
Now Rodgers. And the Packers give him nowhere to go, and they bring him down. Cameron Wake in there to drop him, and it'll be a loss of about 8.
And plays like that really hurt play calling. They had a really nice gain on the previous play, but gave about half the yardage back on the sack. Excellent pressure up front. Nowhere to go with the football. Down he goes.
They go play action for Lacey. Now Rodgers. And his throw's going to be incomplete. The tight end, Gary Barnage, the intended receiver. And that takes us from second to third down.
It's always tough for the guys throwing the football when they think they've got a completion and the ball's almost there, and then someone sneaks a hand or two in and bats it away.
Incomplete pass on second down. Let's see what the offense draws up here on third. On third and long, it's Rodgers. He'll rifle this one deep right side. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Sam Shields. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Well, I tell you, Brandon, this ball's intercepted, but it is third down. So the silver lining is that since this is so far down the field and there wasn't a big run back associated with it, really this kind of works like a punt. It's not an altogether bad result.
In the slot on the right is Graham. Now the first carry here for Todd Gurley. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9. Here's the offensive unit coming out onto the field in just a moment. Randall Cobb, very good at wideout.
Went to college to be a quarterback. Discovered his talents couldn't be limited to one position. He's a 1,000-yard receiver every year for his quarterback.
Now Wilson on second down. Dumps it off to Gurley. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing, playing against a good quarterback like he is, to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front, defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
Now whistles and a timeout. Looks like we've got a Viking slow to get up. And how might this affect him for the playoffs? We'll get a report when we come back. Now on second down, this is Gurley. And he'll be tackled at about the 35. And still about 3 yards shy of a first as the 4-yard pickup brings it to third down. Let's see if they can convert here on 3rd and 3. Wilson now to throw on 3rd down. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete. Randall Cobb, the intended receiver. And now it's 4th down.
Putting pressure on the guy throwing the football is always good, but when you can couple that with contact on him that leads to an incompletion, as we just saw there, that's winning football.
The offense is not leaving the field. They're going to stay out and go for it on 4th and 3. Here we go on 4th with Wilson. It's brought in left side by Tate. And he will have a first down here at about the 40. 5 yards on the pickup, and they're able to pick up the conversion here on 4th down. And the D-line pinching together, must be expecting the run. Throwing now, Wilson on 1st down. And they'll set up the screen to Gurley. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down. Got to give some credit there defensively. They snuffed out that screen early on 1st down.
Really read it well, didn't they? Because they didn't bring the pressure that they expected. They covered all the passing lanes. So once you see it break down as the passer, I think in this situation, you're either throwing it at the feet of your back to make sure no one picks it off, or you throw it away. Throw it over the sideline. Don't try and freelance and try and make a bigger play. There's really no one else running a pattern that should be open.
It finds Randall Cobb with a completion. It's a 9-yard pickup on the play, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Second quarter about to get underway with the Packers in possession of the football. They'll face a 3rd down conversion attempt here, 3rd and 3. They're still in search of the 1st down after that last completion. They'll try and pick up the first with Gurley. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And the nifty hurdle allows him to snag the extra yardage for the first before the tackle.
In scouting parlance, if you really like a player, they ask if you're going to pound the table for him. Well, when Todd Gurley came out of Georgia, I stood on a table and did backflips. Even with the knee injury he suffered his last year there, I thought he was one of the best runners I'd seen come into the game since Adrian Peterson.
And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 to the 5-yard line. That goes for a gain of 31.
So what's the old expression that quarterbacks like to use when they decide to throw the football? I'm looking for either a touchdown or a check down. And he took the check down on that play, and it worked almost to perfection.
And a really long drive here, and it goes on and on. On 1st and goal, Gurley. And he goes backwards on this one, losing yardage to the 7. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Now that was a good turning to the football. and you know it's no cinch that you're going to be able to get the ball into the end zone against them. They're number 2 against the run. So what's an offensive coordinator to do? Check your playlist.
Second and goal. Defense digging in again here. And they'll be driven back here, losing yardage to the 9. So he loses 3 yards there. Now third down.
Partner, I know we're in a goal-to-go situation, but my goodness, think about running the ball here. Not even a thought, is it?
Defensively, they're in a prime spot.
And I think the defensive guys are probably expressing themselves to them as well. I wouldn't run it here, guys. You might want to try throwing it.
On third and goal, Wilson. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
And there's a good opportunity to just went awry there. A drop pass. I guess that's why they call them running backs and not catching backs.
Now Mason Crosby for the Packers field goal try. From the left hash, a chip shot here. And Crosby puts it through. And that will make our score 9-0. So they get the field goal, but partner, that was a 14-play drive to get the 3.
Normally, when you hold the ball that long, run that many plays, you end up in the end zone. There's a breakdown on the defense. Something happens. In this case, that didn't, but really good ball control by the offense. They're hoping that they can wear them down if they keep having drives like that.
And now out comes Minnesota. And following the interception, we'll see what they can put together on this drive.
I can hear my old college coach right now. He always used to tell us before every game, the team making the fewest mistakes will win. What they're hoping is that last mistake is their only one of the game.
Coaches, that's all they talk about, turnovers, right?
Minimizing those and maximizing opportunities.
They go back to the air here after the INT. And they're going to get this one all the way out across the 45. We heard them talk before the game about utilizing the intermediate passing game this week. It works for them there. They move the chains.
And we saw them work on it in practice as well. And most teams take a period at a time to work on different things. They put a couple of periods of work into the intermediate passing game. And now we know.
And Rodgers intercepted a third time. Picked off by the linebacker, David Harris. And he'll return this ball across midfield to the 47-yard line. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
Looking to find a lane, but he can't. Reined in at the line of scrimmage. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down. Again they run with Gurley. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. 4 yards on the pickup there as they get it back to a more manageable 3rd and 7.
But you've got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
And the line to gain here is the 37 on 3rd down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. It's a 7-yard gain there, and it's good enough to move the chains.
On 3rd down, that's a good job of situational football and understanding where the first down marker was and getting there.
So the run moves the chains, and here we go on 1st down. On first down. Wilson, flush to his right, and complete right side to Cook. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. That's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's brought down. 12 yards there as they move the chains.
Whenever we meet with coaches and they always talk about wanting to establish running the football, it's oftentimes really good tight end who can control the line of scrimmage and the point of attack, and they're becoming harder to find because the colleges are giving us a whole lot of receiving tight ends, former wide receivers who can run, not necessarily block very well. In this case, though, we saw two tight ends on the field, both of them with the ability to block, and he ran the ball successfully behind that power set.
And he's brought down. It's a nice pickup of 12 yards, and it gives him a first and goal.
Okay, no score on that play, but this guy's been a touchdown machine all year long. You know they trust him with the football.
Two minutes remain here in the first half. We're back to Lambeau following these words. On first down, it's Gurley. And he is going to... And now the Vikings are going to stop it here on defense with a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have two remaining here before we get to halftime. Looks like the defense in press coverage here. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's in for the score. And his spectacular season continues as he ties the NFL touchdown record.
He is phenomenal. I know we don't talk about it enough, but the intelligence level of the guys up front blocking, the offensive linemen, maybe the smartest guys in football overall. Add in a little bit of athleticism and a whole lot of toughness, you got a lot to deal with, don't you?
That's why the guys in the backfield get them really nice Christmas gifts, right?
If they're smart, they do.
Now after the touchdown, here's Crosby to kick it away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And now out comes Minnesota. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here. He's going to rifle one deep left side, and it drops down incomplete. Thought he might have had it. Instead, second down.
And when all else fails as a defender, when you're not there in the coverage, your best friend is exactly what we saw there. A big play shot taken by the offense. Unfortunately, it ended in a big drop.
Rodgers again here on 2nd and 10. He's going to try and go deep again. And both guys were there, but it falls incomplete.
One thing I know from experience is that when the deep ball is thrown and you're the defender, you've got to fight that little bit of panic that emerges. You've got to play the ball really well. It's a 50-50 jump ball play. And guess what? They took a shot. How are you going to win it? And in this case, they managed to get it done.
Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
Not only was that a 3 and out, it was their 3rd straight incompletion on this drive, and they didn't even think about trying to run the football. Now
the Vikings send out their punter as he's on a punt for the first time this afternoon. Now, fair catch is called for and taken at the, we'll call it the 37-yard line. Just 34 yards on the punt there, no return. And it'll be Packer football here, first down and 10. They'll start out on the ground with Gurley. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. It's Everson Griffin who made the tackle. And they're going to speed things up here. They'll stick to the ground game with Gurley. 2 yards on the carry there, and it's going to lead them to third down. Another timeout called by the Vikings now. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime.
Tough day. Tough sledding right there, and it's been that way the entire game. Not a whole lot of room to ramble for him.
Yeah, you're right. It's been that way all afternoon. Didn't get a whole lot better there. So second down was a run play. Now let's see what they do on third. On third down, Wilson. And he finds Jimmy Graham. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Now Wilson on first down, eluding the pressure right. And he'll just throw this one over in the way of the security crew. Incomplete here.
It's a tried-and-true formula, and I don't think it'll change for as long as we play football. If someone's trying to throw the ball and you can put pressure on them and make it tough, that's only going to help your defense.
Yeah, he's since being hurried. He got rid of it before taking the hit, but incomplete. Again on second and 10, it's Wilson. He'll throw underneath for Gurley. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. It's a gain of 5 on the play, and that'll make it third down. And now it looks like they're going to be in the hurry-up. Now hang on here. Timeout called by the defense. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. Wilson will throw again. He's going to loft one deep left side here. This is caught inside the 15. And that goes as a gain of 37 on third down. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. To throw again is Wilson. And the tip there altered the ball flight, and it falls incomplete. It'll be second down.
Anytime a ball's thrown in the middle of the field that's popped up in the air, I expect someone to catch. It doesn't matter whether it's offense or defense, because there's usually a great amount of bodies in that part of the field. In this case, no one came up with it.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6. It'll be a gain of 4, but it'll bring us now to a 3rd and goal. Defensively, I think they can smell a stop. Ball right around the 5 here brings up 3rd.
And I think
now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. And Crosby puts it through, and that will make this now a 19-point advantage. So 2 field goals now for Crosby, a man who became the Packers' all-time leading scorer last year, topping the mark set by Ryan Longwell.
And as you know, Lambeau Field is not an easy place to kick field goals, especially when you get into December and January. But Crosby's been a steadying influence on some real good Packers teams.
And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. And now out comes Minnesota. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play. But we do know there's some risk takers out there that may want to take one more shot before the clock runs out.
A final shot before half for Rodgers. He'll rifle this one deep right side. And that is incomplete. So we've reached halftime here. Let's throw in a broadcaster cliche, shall we? Both teams looking for a gift on Christmas Eve. As we send you down to our EA Sports Studios in Orlando, where we find our man Larry Ridley with our halftime report. So both teams have their marching orders, and we'll get going again here in quarter number 3. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. They built a good first-half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
The best defensive linemen, they play with great leverage so they can get low and not get bowled over by offensive linemen. They have excellent hands. They can throw people off on a play. We just saw a great example of a really good run stop by a guy playing the defensive tackle position.
Back to the workhorse today. It's Gurley. And he's going to lose yardage and be backed up to the 25. And the dreaded face mask penalty, that's going to cost him 15 yards.
And it's such a dangerous play. Body going one way, and then your head gets yanked back the other. 15 yards is the right call.
So the offense has it 1st and 10. Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively. On 1st down, Wilson. And his throw is going to be incomplete. Jimmy Graham, the intended receiver. And that'll bring up 2nd down. So 2nd and 10 here. They'll run it now out of the gun. And not much room to operate as he'll get this up only to about the 41. 1 yard, the official pickup there, so it's going to set up 3rd and 9. Nine yards to go. It's 3rd down. From the gun on 3rd down, Wilson escaping the pressure right. He may try and run for this. And he is out of bounds on the other side of midfield. And a gain there of 11 yards.
The one thing that's confirmed is that Russell Wilson knows how to elude pressure. And he finds openings to throw the ball, and he does the same thing in running it. He lost about 300 yards from last season in his rushing total, but I think that's a good thing. People respect his running ability so much, it's opening up pass lanes for his team.
Here comes a 20th carry for Gurley. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down. And 3rd quarter here, you've got the lead. This is where that strong run game can really benefit you. Stayed in bounds there, kept the clock going.
I like all the points you just made there. And if you throw the football and it's incomplete, now you've stopped the clock and you've helped out the guys on the other side of the ball. So keep it in the hands of those runners. Keep moving it. Keep grinding clock.
Another carry now for Gurley. And he's going to be stopped at about the 37. Give him 8 yards there. Still a few inches to go, though, as it'll be third down and about the length of the football. And here comes play number 6 on this drive.
Hey, alert. Watch the twist. Stick guard. Check stick guard. Check ready. I'll go special. Hey.
On third down, they'll run it with Gurley. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36.
I always appreciate runners who understand situations. That was just 3rd and inches. No reason to dance around in the backfield and try and break off a bigger play. Just go pick up the first down, and that's exactly what he did.
Looks like the defense in press coverage here. They'll run it now out of the gun. And a solid run down inside the 30. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
This drive is turning into an extended one, and the guy carrying the ball, he's becoming more like a body blows guy. Every carry is putting some damage on the defense. So after a while, I'm not too sure how many guys are going to want to run up and tackle him.
On second down, Ryan Matthews. And he's going to get hit at the line of scrimmage and driven backwards. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4. This will be play number 9 of the drive here as they need 4 yards on third down. They'll run it now out of the gun. Might have gotten this one down to the 28, and that's all. Just a yard on the run there, and that's going to bring us to a 4th down.
But forget knowing where the first down line was. This defense created their own line of scrimmage. They won every battle up front, and a lot of times that is one-on-one. And if you win your one-on-ones enough times, your defense is going to be pretty good. They had more people to the football and snuffed out the play.
Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this 3rd quarter. And the move from Mike McCarthy is going to be to keep the offense on the field here on 4th down. They're going for it. Fourth down. Here's Wilson. And when this ball's tipped and intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. A look at the offense now here coming back out on the road for their first possession of the second half. And tough starting field position here. So after the INT, it's Rodgers. It's caught on the right side at Smith. Call it a gain of 5, and it'll be 2nd down.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
They come out here in the eye. Throwing now is Rodgers. He's got Smith here. 9 yards on the pickup there, and it keeps the drive alive.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection. Possible run anticipation here as the D-line sandwiches together. Now a play fake here on first down. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked up by the corner, Tremaine Brock. And he will return this one to the 30-yard line. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. Looked like they had something going last drive. Then the interception happened. Will they recover?
The memory they need to keep with them is that they did have something going. They were moving the ball on offense, had a nice sequence going. Don't worry about it.
Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
That was a really nice play, be able to stack that one up. When they get back in the huddle, he's got to tell his guys up front, great job. They kept people off of him, allowed him to run free, and make the hit on the runner.
Filled the gap nicely, kept him to just a 1-yard gain. In the slot on the right is Graham. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll take this down just shy of the 25-yard line. Give him 3 yards, and now they're left needing a conversion here on 3rd and 6.
Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks and allow other people to make tackles. But when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big day.
Only a yard on the pickup there, and it's going to leave them with a 4th down.
Well, this was just simply excellent defense. On this 3rd down, they had to be alert for the possibility of a pass, but that didn't stop them at all from understanding what was going on when they decided to run the football, and they just swarmed and stuffed them for almost no gain.
And Crosby can't get it to come back. It's no good. Wide to the right, and this score will stay right where it is. And there is nothing easy about being a kicker on a day like this.
Yeah, I tell you, not only is the footing tough in the snow, but kicking that ball is like kicking a rock. Very difficult to get any sort of feel on your kicks.
And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. Give him 9 on the play, and it'll be 2nd and about a yard.
For a second there, I thought that might break big. Screen pass. Looked like it was coming together. Looked like there was an opening. Still, ended up with a solid game.
To throw is Rodgers. Finding time. And his throw is incomplete.
This has been a really nice day for the defense. They've made it so difficult to find open receivers because they're able to squeeze the passing lanes down. A lot of what they're doing is communicating. Receivers in one area, receivers in another area. They're almost what they call passing them off from one defender to the next, even in zone defenses, and making it very hard to find an open spot for the quarterback to deliver the ball.
They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going.
Everyone understood their role on that play. 3rd and 1, you know the defensive guys, they're trying to get down and get low and get leverage on the offensive lineman, but they didn't allow that to happen. They created a crease and allowed him to get through for a 1st down.
Back now at Lambeau. It's the Vikings in possession of the football, but they need some points. They're trailing here to start the 4th. So here we go, 1st and 10 now. Rodgers now on 1st down. He's going to fire one deep, middle of the field. Brandon Cooks, the receiver he was going after. That'll bring up 2nd down. Well, they haven't had a whole lot of success in the passing game here. Now, in the 2nd half, he's thinking, I guess maybe just take a shot deep.
I think you're right. Almost looking for a bailout, isn't he? Can my receiver go up and make a big play for me? Can I create a penalty downfield, maybe pick up an interference call and get that yardage downfield? Anything trying to get going again, but you're right. He definitely took a shot.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll take this one up close to about the 45. Call it about a gain of 3, and they'll be looking at a 3rd and 7 coming up.
We always like to talk about defense in terms of levels. 1st level defensive line, 2nd level linebackers, 3rd level defensive backs. On that run, that was what we call a 1st level run, and it was stopped by a 2nd level player.
Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down. It's caught left side by Cooks. And he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like, yeah, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50.
They didn't get the first down, but I have to say I do like the call. I like what they were trying to do. Try and hit your receiver on the run and see if he can pick it up. Keep it on his feet, get a little rack yardage.
Yeah, but a nice job defensively to get to him and keep him short of the first. They're already slim hopes are going to ride on this one. They'll go on 4th down. Now Rodgers got to have this one. This is caught. It's Cooks. And he gets this one across midfield for the first down to the 46.
I remember in pregame when we were talking to him on the field, and he took his gloves off and showed us his fingers. A few misshapen ones in there, and now we know why, trying to catch those types of bullets.
That was a dart. Yeah, even for a talented receiver, those are tough to hang on to. And now a fumble. The ball's out. But a Viking was able to corral this one, and Minnesota will keep possession. And the defense not able to get it. From a defensive perspective, what's that moment like when you realize the ball is loose?
It is a moment where all concentration goes right to the football. This is something you've talked about in all your preparation for the game. You probably talked about since training camp. Knock the ball free, take it away from the other team, and now you have that chance. There's a little bit of deflation when they end up recovering it.
They knocked it free, but couldn't take it away. Now Rodgers. It's caught on the right side. It's Smith. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. That one good for 17 yards, and now they've got it 1st and goal. Looking to speed things up here, going with some tempo. Throwing is Rodgers. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Steve Smith, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Vikings are able to cut into that deficit. Now Adam Vinatieri for the point after. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. So now after the timeout, they'll try for it one more time. They'll run it with Lacey. And he will get into the end zone to cut the lead a little bit further. And so they run it in on the 2-point try. You know, so often, Charles, we talk about from the offense's perspective what you do on the 2-point conversion. How about the defense? How do they play run versus pass?
It's really difficult for them because I think most teams want to play for the pass. That's what they see most teams do. And so are you able to mass enough people inside if the team decides to run it? Very difficult. I think what you're seeing a lot more now, people blitzing the 2-point conversion. They want you to make a quick decision and make it right now.
There, the offense wins the battle for 2. And he's going to be taken down shy of the 10 at the 9-yard line. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And the last time that they were on the field, little demoralizing. Missed field goal. You know, always feel like you want to get it in the end zone, but then, oh, well, at least we're going to get 3. Didn't go through the goalpost, so.
It does test the mental processes of a team, though, doesn't it? Because when you miss a field goal, it's amazing how fast they want to turn on the guy kicking the ball. But you need to keep his confidence up because how many times have we seen games where it comes down to the stretch? And guess what? You need that guy to make the big kick for your team to move on or to win a game. Make sure you keep him happy. Make sure you keep him comfortable.
I'm sure you always treated the kicker nicely, though, right?
You know, truthfully, I did.
Good.
I always did because those guys, they won us a whole lot of games.
Second down following the run. They'll run it now out of the gun. And a short gain across the 15 to the 17-yard line. Tackle made by Everson Griffin. The 4th quarter here, they've got the lead. They want to keep it on the ground. That's what they're doing.
Smart football. Keep the clock grinding. Keep it going. But you got to figure now, they're going to see more people stacked up at the line of scrimmage as they try and bleed it out.
Another timeout called by the Vikings now. That's going to be their second. They'll be left with one more plus the 2-minute warning, and we'll be back. Well, he challenged the play. It did not pay off.
and that means he lost a timeout in that challenge.
And as a coach, you hate that. Don't know if you took the advice of the player, you threw it yourself, but it didn't go your way.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to the head coach. He has the final determination on whether to actually challenge the play or not. In this case, it didn't pay off for him.
And that's got to be so heartbreaking. You throw that flag, you probably feel really confident, and then all of a sudden, boom, you lose the challenge.
Yeah, when you take a look at it, you're throwing that flag because you believe you're going to be right. And when it comes back the other way, you have to regroup.
It's caught. Nelson. He's at the 30. 10. Touchdown, Packers. Jordy Nelson, 82 yards. And the Packers add on to their lead. And Charles, I had an offensive coordinator tell me one time that they designed every play to score. I don't know how true that is. They had to run a long way after that catch. Heck of a play.
I think that when he was telling you that, he was designing run after catch in every play. I mean, that's the only way to put it in there, and that's what we got on that one. Nice catch, an even better run for big yardage.
And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. And now out comes Minnesota, and they're going to need another score. Got one last time, but still down here.
When you're playing catch-up, every possession becomes crucial, doesn't it? It's vital. Get back out on the field, punch in the end zone again. They know it's not easy, but what they do have going for them, they did score the last time. They think they've got a good formula working.
And what about the defense?
Well, now you're just saying...
And that's caught inside the 30. And he finally goes down at the 23-yard line. And at this stage, down in the second half, looks like they just wanted to find a way to get it in the hands of their playmaker, and they did.
I think you're exactly right. I don't think the coordinator's looking at his play sheet and trying to figure out which play will work well. He's trying to figure out how to get the ball to the playmaker that you just described. Looking down at that sheet, you find people plays, not necessarily X's and O's, and that's exactly what they did there. So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
Here's Rodgers to throw. The left side caught by Diggs. Call it a gain of 3. And that's going to make it third down and less than a yard. And quickly they get to the line. Here's Rodgers. He's got his man. It's taken in for a Viking touchdown. Gary Barnidge, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Vikings are able to close the gap just a bit. Yeah, he is a reliable target. They like to get him involved. They got him involved there for the score.
And they should. He's a very good player. Remember, they can use him in certain positions, so many different spots, and he usually comes through for them.
Rodgers will throw for it. And they don't get it. They tried for the 2-point conversion there, but unsuccessful. So the defense gets the stop. I know it's situation to situation, but who has more pressure there, offense or defense, when they go for 2?
I truly believe it's the defense has more pressure because the offense has an entire playbook wide open from the 2-yard line. You can run it, you can throw it. So defensively, I think most teams are going to be aggressive and force the issue and try and bring pressure.
And so we have the touchdown. Now here's Blair Walsh to kick this one away. This will be fielded at the 6. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And they will simply, Charles, be looking to duplicate what they did last drive when they were able to push it in for 6.
And they hope it'll be that easy, right? To be able to take exactly what happened before, replicate it. They may have to make a few additional changes along the way because I'm sure the defense will make some adjustments, but they've got to have great confidence having scored the last time out.
They begin the drive with Ryan Matthews. And not much of an opening there as he's only going to get this to about the 32. The tackle made there by Harrison Smith. And this situation with the lead 4th quarter, they're liking keeping the ball on the ground, I'm sure.
That's just smart football, but you know the defense has to know it as well. They've got to stop them here. So now we're going to see that loading the box in a big way. 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take, puts a little bit more pressure on your big offensive line.
Back to the ground, this time with Gurley. And able to use his blockers to get this up over the 40. Give him 8 yards there. Still a few inches to go, though, as it'll be third down and about the length of the football. Time for a break. We'll come back and see this one out after this. Defense really showing respect to the deep ball here, playing off the receivers. Wilson on the keeper. Only a pickup of 2, but that's all they needed for the first.
I don't know about you, but I like this call. 3rd and inches, and instead of worrying about getting it back to a running back and maybe there's some penetration from the defensive front, just go ahead and take it, move forward, and pick up the first down.
And as we say often, shows confidence in your offensive line. And the play clock is going to run out here. They're in no hurry to get a play off.
Double tight, guys, double tight. You got 4.
Victory very much in sight now as they'll take a knee.
Tight. 4 down. Check.
Move the team.
And they're going to take it all the way down and just take the delay.
Double tight. Hey, we got 4 down.
One final kneel down here as it comes inside the 40-second mark, and that should be enough to put this one on ice. Well, partner, there's something special about a game in the snow. Just always fun in these elements, although a little chillier up here in the open-air booth. The only thing that's not fun is that we got the mid-game notification that our flight was canceled tonight, but we'll deal with that later. It was really a fun game to watch, though.
It was, and there is something special about games played in the snow because the element of surprise really kicks in. You don't know how they're going to handle the ball, if someone's going to make a dramatic play just out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it just changes the course of things. But a big shout out to our crew to make sure that we were comfortable up here, as comfortable as one could be. In these elements, they took care of us and made sure we were dressed properly.
So that's a wrap for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gunn, and this has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. For more, check us out at easports.com. The Packers are winners here as we say so long from Lambeau.